Here, that is the talent we really wanted to say. Then behind us, we have the ladies. Behind here, there's a door. The staff lead you, or our artists will do that for you. So please be aware of that, or be mindful of that, so to say. Want to appreciate you. Want to thank you most sincerely for honoring our invitation to be part of this epoch-making occasion today. I want to say a big thank you once again. Thank you, Dalu, Akushe. So, Japama, if you really want me to say that, Kumamungode. Thank you so much. I've been directed to take this occasion to start, and then without any further delay, we are to start by requesting each and every one of us to please rise as we respect our dear motherland Nigeria, a country that we have no any other. Shall we please do that? Let's rise please with the national anthem. Let us rise with the national anthem. This is Nigeria at hand. We are one dear native land, though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians home and proud to serve our sovereign. Thank you. A round of applause, please, to yourselves. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We had Nigeria, and also we have taken the national prayer. Yes, thank you so much. As I said, please put your phones to silence or vibrations, please. Your Highness, the Emir of the good people of Kano, are all highly respected, a consummate banker by profession, who saw Nigeria to greater height when he was at the apex band of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, CBN, Khalifa Muhammad Sanusi II, PhD, ably today represented by another dexterous banker by profession, and indeed a businessman of our time, who is doing very well and justifying the confidence always upholding him by His Highness the Emir of Kano, as well as the Kano Emirate Council. No doubt today, Megirma Sakishan in Kano, who is indeed the Council of Finance in the Kano Emirate, Alhaji Sheikh Muhammad Ankade, is representing His Highness the Emir of Kano. Sir, you are highly welcome. We feel honored. Shall we please appreciate you? Thank you so much. In absentia, even though whatever we have, in spirit, the person in question is with us, and very shortly, God willing, he shall be joining us for this very important gathering. I am particularly referring to no one else but the chairman, and that is the group chairman, Nigeria Exchange Group, Alhaji Dr. Umaru Kweranga. Please, a round of applause. Also, to be recognized in our midst, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is another distinguished Nigerian who is doing very well. I'm talking about the Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Exchange Limited, Mr. Jude Chiameka. Please, a round of applause for him. Also, very quickly to be recognized is the Executive Director, Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME, the Bank of Industry, Mr. Oluwatoyin Ahmed Adu. Please, a round of applause for him. May I also recognize in our midst the Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Samadan on SME, Financing and Indeed Capital Market Integration, Mr. Charles Odi. Please, a round of applause. I want to also recognize another distinguished person who has achieved so much, and some few months back, he championed one of the most essential part of the Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture. And today he's in our midst. We appreciate the President Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture, the SIMA, Ambassador Hassan Othman Darma. Please, a round of applause for him. Let me also very quickly distinguish, ladies and gentlemen, recognize Chief Strategy and Development Officer, Bank of Industries, Dr. Isa Omago, ably represented here as I've been informed. Let me also recognize in our midst the Divisional Head Business Development and Strategy Bank of Industries, Dr. Obaro Osa. Please, a round of applause for him. Let me move to where we shall recognize some other key staff of the Bank of Industry who are here with us, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by recognizing the Group Head Business Development and Partnership North Bank of Industry, Dr. Olishew Olagunchu. Please, a round of applause for her. Face always be familiar for those who key with television. Please, a round of applause for her one more time. Thank you very much. Let me also appreciate the Group Head, MSME, Coordinating Unit, Bank of Industries. Ojuro, right? Yeah, Ojuro. Please, a round of applause. Thank you. Also to be recognized, the Group Head, Relationship Management Bank of Industry, Mr. Ade Chujisho. Please a round of applause. Want to also very quickly recognize the state managers, the regional managers of the Bank of Industry present here today. Please round of applause for all of them. Let me also recognize some extra stakeholders. First, as the national president, Nigeria American Chamber of Commerce, NICC, Alhaji Sharif Balogun. Please round of applause. Let us also appreciate the national president, Nigeria Association of Small and Medium Enterprise, Alhaji Yarima Abdul Rashid, and delegation. Please round of applause. Also, very quickly to be recognized as other executives and management staff of Bank of Industry and indeed NGS who are present here. Please round of applause for all of them. Let us appreciate the entire capital market stakeholders who are here. Please, a round of applause for them. Let me also recognize in our midst very quickly Alhaji Kamal Abdul Qadir Mustafa. That is Talbanga with Nasima. Please round of applause for him. Let me also recognize another distinguished person in our midst, a dogged lecturer who has done so much within the field of academia, and also one time president of the Nigeria Association of those people who believe in finances. A father and a role model as well. Today, waxing stronger within the financial sector. Gwani Dr. Farouk Umar, Director, NGS Limited. Please a round of applause for him. Want to also appreciate Alhaji Harris Gwarzo, Assistant General Manager, Kano State Investment and Properties Limited, KSIP. Please a round of applause for him. The last also but not the least, let's recognize Alhaji Nasir Mansour Mohammed, Director General Kano State Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency. Please a round of applause please for him. And I can see the DG Can Invest just joining us now. Please a round of applause for him. Just joining us now, Mohammed Nasir Khalil. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize all other distinguished guests that are from far and wide who are here with us. Please round of applause for all of them. And let us also appreciate the gentlemen of the press who are also in our midst. Please round of applause for them. Well, very quickly joining us now is the former member House of Representatives representing Kumbuzo and former House Chairman Agriculture. Please round of applause for him. Sir, you are highly welcome. Thank you very much. Well, we have some key people here that we need to know them very quickly. As our panelists, as you can see, the designated seat here. We're going to have the moderator as well as other members of the parliament. Maybe when they come to the time, we'll get to know them. But I'll just leave their names now to go straight into the business of the day. Thank you very much. Which guests who are here with us. Today is that day that we'll be launching to have in Kano. And I said, good morning to every one of us here. And once again, welcome to Unlocking Growth, harnessing the capital market for SMEs growth, the game-changing summit where bold ideas and boundless opportunities stand. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, your small and medium enterprise SMEs, a passionate project, you pour your heart into a suddenly turbocharged by the powerhouse of Nigeria's capital markets. No more scrapping by unknown or abuse traffic alone today. We are flinging open the doors of funding, expertise, and network that propels small business to a global giant, which I strongly believe is timely and desirable to go in line with the renewed hope of the present administration of His Excellency President Association with Bank of Industry. This workshop today is assured to positively change the narratives of the SME existence that will equip you with the tools, insights, and indeed connections to unlock millions of capital that skyrocketed your successes. Your Highness, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the choice of Kano, the commercial nerve center of the northern Nigeria, is not just apt, but strategically significant because Kano is the powerhouse that attracts small and medium enterprise operators, international investors, financial advisors, and indeed development stakeholders whose trajectory of activities is a good reflection of the state-of-the-art transfer of knowledge, skills, and experiences that cut across generations of financial experts and analysts whose wealth of technical know-how is a boost and will undoubtedly reflect on what we stand to gain from the carefully selected speakers and resource persons that will educate and enlighten us the more today, God's willing. Having said this, together, God's willing, we shall harness the capital. We have gathered here today to champion it. May I, on this note, invite someone in our midst who has carved a niche himself. He is always on the move to strengthen and champion people's minds with a nice but captivating knowledge that inspires others to continue to succeed in life. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I invite Mr. Jude Chiamaka, Chief Executive Officer, Nigeria Exchange Limited, to please come and talk to us. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start first by thanking His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, for opening the city to us to have this engagement and also to express our heartfelt condolences to him over the loss of his brother. We pray that Allah will grant repose to his soul. It is indeed a pleasure to be here in Kano, one of Nigeria's first, foremost vibrant commercial hubs, where enterprise and resilience continue to drive economic activity across key sectors of the Nigerian economy. Today's session underscores our shared commitment to creating sustainable pathways for SME growth by improving access to long-term financing. Kano's strong legacy in trade, manufacturing, and enterprise makes it a critical part of this conversation. Our partnership with the Bank of Industry is focused on expanding the modern market, but also the capital market. Across Nigeria, SMEs account for over 39 million businesses, and they employ more than 80% of the labor force and contribute about 50% of the national GDP. clearly underscoring their importance to our economy. However, many of these businesses continue to rely on short-term and informal sources of funding, which limits their ability to grow substantially in a sustainable manner. This is where the capital market becomes really important and official to the whole process. It becomes really a critical component of it. It provides access to long-term capital, supports improved governance, and enables businesses to scale in a structured and sustainable manner. Through this engagement, we aim to provide really the opportunity that will make this whole insight clearer into the capital market pathways and other practical guidance that will help SMEs understand and assess available funding pathways and opportunities. We appreciate the strong partnership with the Bank of Industry and the support of all stakeholders. Together, we can build a more inclusive financing ecosystem that supports the growth of the Nigerian economy. At NGX, we remain committed to supporting enterprises across Nigeria by unlocking capital and creating pathways for sustainable growth. NGX is a multi-asset exchange. So apart from equities that we are known for, and we're second in the continent, we have a market cap of over 95 billion US dollars. Our market now has been classified as a frontier market. We trade $25 million a day. And we continue to have bold aspirations as we want to move very quickly to an emerging market status, trading over $100 billion daily. All of this is underpinned by cutting-edge technology and the right human resource to help drive that process. So today, as a multi-asset exchange, we have 322 listed securities that really provide created a path also for businesses to raise capital through commercial papers. We have 5 listed already on the exchange, and we'll also employ businesses to look at how best to assess the market. It's not just through equities, they are fixed income instruments, but more importantly, we also are committed to non-interest finance. So we have a dedicated board that help drive capital raise for companies and also products for investors to invest in this particular asset class. Partnership is one area that we are really strong.
mun fito ne ka cokan ba don komai ba sai don waɗannan hukumomi guda biyu na gwamnatin tarayyar Najeriya da suka fito su ilimantar da mu, su faɗakar da mu, su ƙara nuna mana mahimmancin ƙanana da kuma matsakaicin wato harkoki na kasuwanci da muke da su a kodayaushe. Kuma a yau ko ba komai an mai da hankali ne inda za a sami wato ribatar a bakar ci gaban kasuwanci tun daga tushe zuwa matakin ƙasa da ƙasa, wanda duk wata ƙasa da kaga ta ci gaba sai da ta mai da hankalin ta kacokan akan harkar ta shafi me ake shigo mata, me take fitarwa. Idan muka dubi banki na ainihin masana'antu, bank of industry, da irin gudunmawa da yake bayarwa akan duk wani wanda yake harkar kasuwanci, inda za ka yi kasuwanci wanda yake batu da kan wai janun, kasuwanci sahihi, tallafi ka je ka nema a wurinsu za su taimaka. za ka kuma jihohi su ma suna taimakawa yadda ya kamata. Shi yasa kusan duk irin waɗannan abubuwan za ga daga ainihin tarayya zuwa jiha, daga jiha kuma zuwa ƙananan hukumomi. saboda haka za mu riga ji daga su waɗanda suke gabatar da ainihin bayanansu tun daga ainihin shi mutum na farko zuwa na biyu, suna ƙara nuna mana irin yadda mahimmancin jihar Kano take a matsayinta na ainihin babbar jiha wadda Allah ya mata albarka da ilimi da fikira irin na kasuwanci. Duk wanda ya zo jihar Kano baya tafiya ba ta da Allah ya sa masa albarka ba irin kasuwancin da ya zo da shi. Saboda haka muna alfahari da wannan, kuma yana da kyau yau mu tsaya mu mai da hankali sosai, domin an gayyato masana akan wannan harkar domin su ƙara wayan mana da kai. Kada mutum ya raina sana'ar da yake yi, no matter how small it is, ka kalle ta da martaba, ka kalle ta da daraja, kuma ku riga tunawa muna zuwa duk inda ya kamata mu je mu kai kanmu. Yau ga shugaban can ba yana wannan wuri, president yana zo. Idan muka dubi abin da ainihin can ba take ita kanta, wani abu ne da kullum yake karawa ƙananan 'yan kasuwanmu samun hikima da basira da su gudanar da kasuwanci. An fito da kasuwanci daban-daban a wannan hukuma. Saboda haka a yau dole ne mu ƙara godewa Nigeria Exchange, waɗanda kusan duk in kai magana bond, kai magana wasu abubuwa da shigo da su, fita da su, da kuma yadda ake kula da harkokin da suka shafi kuɗaɗe, dole ka sarawa Nigeria Exchange Group, kuma dole ka take godewa Bank of Industry. Saboda wannan muhimmanci nasu shine suka haɗu suka zo ga baki ɗaya domin su nuna mana cewa ga irin ayyukan da waɗannan hukumomi suke yi, kuma domin samun kyakkyawan tabbaci na gudanar kasuwancin mu a yau. Ba zan ja ku da yawa ba saboda akwai abubuwa da yawa, kuma kamar yadda na faɗa da su akwai masanan da za a gayyato su, za su zo nan, za su zauna, sannan kuma za a gabatar da makalu guda biyu daga waɗannan hukumomi. Kowace wato hukuma za ta gabatar da mukalata, wanda kuma ana yi ne saboda mu ba don kowa ba, a matsayinmu na 'yan Najeriya, kuma a matsayinmu na 'yan kasuwa da muke a wannan jiha ta mu ta Kano. Saboda haka ba ta da bata lokaci ba, za mu ɗora inda a wannan gabar za mu saurari jawabi ne karsashi wanda zai fito daga tsatsan mai mataba san Kano, Khalifa Muhammad Sunusi, wanda a yau zama kyakkyawan wakilci na mai girma sarkin shanun Kano, kuma yana ɗaya daga cikin kiraza a wannan masarauta, kuma a rayuwarsa ɗan kasuwa ne, kuma ɗaya daga cikin manyan mutane da suke shura kan harkar shafi wato banki. Saboda haka a ƙara ana mana kunnuwa, a kuma saurari abin da ake faɗa da kunnen basira don mu ƙara amfana da irin duk abin da ake yi. Akwai jotoci da aka saka jotas akan kowace kujera da bayro, duk abin da mutum ya shige masa duhu sai ka dan yi kokari sai ka dan saka shi ka ajiye. Lokacin da muka zo Q&A wato question and answers, sai mutum ya tambaye da yake so, in ma shawara ce kuma a bayar. Kuma abin alfahari ya ila yau idan muka duba akwai ɗaya daga cikin 'yan majalisar tarayya da yake a wannan wuri, lokacin da yake a majalisa ya yi abubuwa na a zo a gani sosai, musamman ma da ya zauna a ainihin shugabanci wanda suke kula da abin da suka shafi harkar noma, kuma mun san da noma yake a tare da mu. Saboda haka shi ma na san yau ko ba komai zai kare mu da wasu abubuwan da za su kara mana ilimi da sanin makamar tafi da kasuwancin mu. On that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to bore you much, but I have to at least re-educate and enlighten some of my people who are here for the benefit of what we are having today. Up next, we shall also lend our ears to the representative of His Highness the Emir of Kano. He is here with us, at least to talk to us, to enlighten us as one of the professional bankers that we have retired. And indeed, he is one of those that we are proud to have anytime, anywhere. Please, a round of applause for him. Like arrows and tilapia.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على النبي الكريم. CEO NGX Limited, Mr. Jude Chimeka, with your permission, I would like to stand on the already established protocol. His Highness Khalifa Muhammad Sanusi would have been here personally. Unfortunately, he was bereaved 3 or 4 days ago. His younger brother died. So he's there receiving condolences and has asked me to stand in for him. And that's what I'm going to do, stand in for him. Sanusi talks like Sanusi, I talk like somebody else. Ladies and gentlemen, we heard from Jude Chimeka, percentages also from the BOI Executive Director. I don't want to repeat, but I will just take 1 or 2 points. Globally, 90% of businesses belong to this SME sector. Employment, 50%. Nigeria, 96% of businesses are under this SME group. And 84% jobs created by them. They contribute about 50% to GDP, as we heard. And the definition for Nigeria is any business that has less than 200 members of staff falls in this category. On assets, between 5 million and 500 million. Unfortunately, despite all these glaring contributions which we've had, SMEs face difficulties. But let me start with their significance. As we heard also, the acute economic diversification, poverty reduction, and fostering entrepreneurship skills, especially for women and youth. What sectors do they belong? They belong to virtually every sector, but I mentioned the key ones, especially here in Kano. They're active across manufacturing, agriculture, services, and retail. But they face, as I said, serious challenges. The most important challenge, access to finance. I think this conference or this workshop is here to address this issue. Why are they having problem in this area? Banks normally assess risk. They put this sector as high risk. I don't agree with them. As a banker, I remember years ago, especially women SMEs, give them a loan, they will pay. In fact, at one time, here we tried something with late Yusuf Hassan. We collected an equal number of men and women about the same age group and gave them loans. Within 1 year, the ladies paid 90% of them paid. The men were able to achieve about 55%. If you contribute 50% to GDP and you receive less than 1% of credit, that I think is unfair, very, very unfair. In fact, the problem is, in 1997, this percentage of credit was about 27% to SMEs, so it's declining. Today, they receive about 1%. So these challenges include also, apart from access to finance, they have regulatory burdens. But in Kano here, anybody who is familiar with the Kano environment, you go north, east, west, you find women in agriculture.
especially poultry and aquaculture. I doff my hat for them. I am pleased to see the President of Kachima here, Ambassador Usman Darma. He will confirm we've been talking about this problem which I am going to mention now. Access to credit is not something which you can get just like that. You have to prepare for it. Most of our SMEs don't keep proper books of accounts. Do they? They don't. They don't keep proper books of accounts. They don't engage professionals, architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, and so on. I want the President to note this. Please let us get working. Let's get the Kano Chamber organize something where our people, especially the SMEs, mostly women, can keep proper books of accounts, produce annual reports, and also get consultants to help them produce papers that will be acceptable to banks and multilateral institutions. So, Mr. Managing Director, as I said, I cannot speak like Muhammad Sanusi. I want to take my leave. On this note, I want to thank the NGX Limited and the BOI for bringing this workshop to Kano. Kano, as I have said, center of commerce for northern Nigeria. And we are relatively safe, considering what is happening in our neighboring states in this part of the country. So on behalf of Muhammad Sanusi, I thank the NGX and the BOI and all those who have come from far and near to this important workshop. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please bear with us for the power outage. Everywhere Nigerian is, we are familiar with this kind of thing. Yes. But before then, we'll be listening to one of our father and a role model who has really touched so many. Much for recognizing the fact that yes, the collaboration of bank people to also talk to us as a way of appreciating what we are witnessing today. First, I would like to start by inviting the president of the Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industries, Mines and Agriculture, the SIMA, who is here with us, Ambassador Hassan Osman Darma, as he talked to us. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you very much.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. His Royal Highness, ably represented by our own, the active businessman, a banker by profession, Sarkin Shano of Kano, the Executive Director of Nigerian Exchange Commission, the Executive Director of Bank of Industry, distinguished members of business community, esteemed stakeholders, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It is my honor and privilege on behalf of Kano Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture to address the distinguished gathering at this strategic bilateral session. This engagement comes at a critical time once national economics must increasingly leverage structural financial systems to drive sustainable growth. The capital market plays a pivotal role in mobilizing long-term capital, strengthening corporate governance, and enhance business transparency, key pillars of modern economic development. It is in this regard that Kachima strongly advocates for deeper partnership between the Nigerian Exchange Commission and Kano-based enterprises. Our members find in commerce, industry, agriculture, solid mineral services require access to sustainable financing instruments that go beyond traditional banking systems. We believe that encouraging indigenous enterprises to explore the listing opportunity, equity participation, and other capital market instruments will not only enhance their growth capacity, but also position Kano as a viable destination both domestic and international investments. Call for increased investor education awareness program tailored to Kano business communities, technical
remarks, just a goodwill message. But let me express my appreciation with the caliber of people I've seen here, even from outside up to the even inside to the hall. And it's demonstrated what Kano. We believe we have not mistaken. Kano is the city of commerce. And that's where whoever that want to raise capital, not through only the banking system, but through the Nigerian capital market, which we are going to hear today, you see the benefits, the advantages of raising capital, especially for our SMEs. Every country that have not recognized that SME is vital will never grow. And I believe we have an opportunity for us in Kano, the North, and Nigeria in general, to take advantage of having the NGS so that we can be able to tap with the type of products we are issuing, the type of funds that we are issuing, so that we can grow. Products from the sweat and efforts being made by people like Sarki Shanu. That's why we are having this type of financial institutions that are not interested, which for us, based on our belief, they are the type of banking system that we are supposed to invest and even raise funds from there. But today's discussion is not about the banking system. It's about the Nigerian capital market and the Bank of Industry. So, Your Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, ably represented by Sarki Shanu, the representative of the DG or Bank of Industry, our CEO of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, Mr. Jude Chiemeka, which I believe this may be his first time of coming to Kano, but I believe it's not going to be the last. He has seen a lot, and I believe he will still come back so that we can be able to achieve the aim and objective of bringing this program here. And the representative of Smedan that's here, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of the board and management of the Nigerian Exchange Group pleasure, it is my pleasure to welcome you to this important engagement here in Kano, a city with a proud legacy of commerce and enterprise. Today's event underscores the power of collaboration in unlocking opportunities for business growth. Our partnership with the Bank of Industry reflects a shared commitment to expanding access to finance and supporting the growth of small and medium-sized enterprises across Nigeria, particularly in regions with strong commercial potential such as Northern Nigeria and Kano in particular. At NGS Group, we recognize that enabling entrepreneurial growth requires more than just access to funding. It requires the right structure and platforms. Through our growth board, we have created a dedicated pathway for SMEs and high-growth companies to access the capital market. The platform is designed to support businesses that may not yet meet the governance and long-term requirements of the main board of our NGS. While still promoting transparency, governance, and long-term sustainability, it provides enterprises with the opportunity to raise long-term capital, enhance their visibility, and position themselves for scale, ultimately creating a pipeline for the next generation of leading companies in our market. In addition to our collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment is focused on strengthening the link between enterprise development and the capital market, ensuring that businesses are better positioned to access sustainable financing as they grow. We have also continued to engage at the highest levels of government. Most recently, NGS Group participated in an entrepreneurial engagement convened by the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Entrepreneurship Development, Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, where discussions centered on unlocking capital for SME growth and expanding access to funding opportunities. Taken together, this effort reflects a connected approach, one that brings together the policy, capital, and market infrastructure to support the growth cannot provide a fitting backdrop for its engagement. It represents both a long-standing commercial hub and a gateway to significant untapped potential. The opportunity before us is to connect that potential to the capital and structure required for sustainable growth. As Nigeria aspires toward inclusive economic growth. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate it. Well done.
They said once a soldier, always a soldier. Please give him a round of applause, please. Let's appreciate him. No, I can't feel you. A round applause, please. Big one. Yes. He has elucidated more for us to really understand the concept of this collaboration. And in the end, the benefits that we shall benefit. And as I said earlier on, even the unborn. Because this is quite a timely workshop we are witnessing today that I believe all the stakeholders will take back home. Redouble efforts to stand firm in championing all the knowledge. But this has brought us to where I feel like just to chip in something and say, one of the determinant forces that compel attention and usher in a newer ways of appreciation perspectives for quicker breakthrough is the establishment of consistency. Yes, a consistency that creates constant flow of a little changes, little dividends, and indeed doses of energy and confidence that accumulate to become a truly standing of edifice that cannot be uprooted with ease. Yes, more especially going by what we are facing within the economy in Nigeria. And this is exactly what small and medium enterprise represent in the world economy today. Advanced nations that have continued to bear the beacon of latest technological advancements provide a strong support, that is support base for the small and medium enterprise, a strategy that enables these nations to remain at the top of the world today in all aspects of endeavors in a human life. And I feel to add it up to say that at least for the sake of energizing and promoting small and medium enterprise, SMEs, to take the forefront stage in revamping our economy, that today the two come together. Bank of Industry and Nigerian Exchange Group. Look at the way and manner people are so attentive. Without this knowledge, where do we think we can go from here? We must appreciate these two federal agencies that are here with us. And I tell you, this brings us to where it has come to bear that two presentations are coming up from the two organizations. And I want us to be very, very much attentive. Very, very much attentive. And then remember your jota. Whatever that crosses your heart that you didn't understand, please put it down and ask questions. Because there won't be any dull moment. We want people to really believe in the spirit of why we are here. And in the end, we shall have a panel. Panel with a moderator that will also give another sense of understanding of who we are in this aspect. So without much ado, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me, as I have the privilege on my part, to invite the very first presentation that will be coming from Nigerian Exchange Group, unlocking SME growth through the Nigerian capital market. And to do this, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the choice of the team lead, primary market, Nigerian Exchange Group is none other than this year. Language goes in two ways, just like INEC. So here the name goes. If you say IB, well, you decide on the two. You either call her IB or IB. But I believe my senior colleague in the media, she's here, as she read in the television through NTA. So we go, I believe, with IV. Am I right, madam? So a round of applause for her, please. So please put it up for her as she come up and then let the cow out of the bag. Thank you very much. Our screen guide, are we ready? All the presentations are with you, right? Oh, okay, good.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Khalifa Mohammed Sanusi, PhD, ably represented by Halaji Shehu Mohammed Dankade, the Consular of Finance at the Emirates. Good afternoon. Permit me to stand on already established protocol. I'll just go right into our presentation. So I have 30 minutes to land and drive home our points. So can I have the presentation? So I'm going to go right into it so that we can progress with the schedule of the day. Next slide, please. Okay, at the end of this session, we want everybody here, every participant, every business, every financial advisor, even, to have an understanding of what happens in the capital markets and how we can enhance SMEs to grow. We also want to touch on the roadmap and the pathways that are available for businesses to access the capital markets, and also, most importantly, highlight of being a listed company. Next slide, please. So first off, I'll start with speaking on, next slide, I'll start with just highlighting on the overview of the SME ecosystem, a lot of which has been said already. Next slide, please. So we have heard from a lot of speakers that have presented today that the SMEs, they account for 50% of our GDP, they drive employment and growth in the country. So the importance of every business in the room today cannot be overemphasized. But today, we are going to rely on the definition of SME by the BOI. I think that's only practical as we are partnering with them. So they have segmented this into three. We have the micro enterprises, we have the small enterprises, and we have the medium enterprises. For this particular workshop, our focus will be on the small enterprises and the medium enterprises. The micro enterprises, we are not locked out. There are still opportunities to leverage from the capital market. So everybody is going to benefit at the end of the day. And we also thought what happens in other jurisdiction, how their SMEs also contribute to GDP and employment. Stringent. So you have to meet the most stringent requirements of the Nigerian exchange to be admitted on the premium board. We also have our main board. Our main board is our standard board. That is where we have most of our companies listed. I would say about 90% of our companies that are listed are on the main board. And this is this segment is for established companies that can also meet the requirements on the main board. The requirements are slowly a little bit less stringent than what you have on the premium board. Then the growth board, which is our focus for today. The idea behind the growth board was because the NGX is keen on supporting SMEs. We have spoken about the importance of SME to the economy, and we do not want to leave the SMEs locked out. So what we did at the exchange was to reduce the barrier to entry on the growth board. So the requirements for the growth board are really, really flexible to ensure that we can admit a good number of good quality SMEs on the Nigerian exchange. We'll speak to that in a few minutes. Next slide, please. Okay, I will speak to this slide. This is just a bird's eye view of our requirements. So that was just a bird's eye view of our requirements. So when you get the deck, you can chew on it and just compare what is required board by board. So now the growth board, the reason we are here today. So you do not have to be a blue chip or very established company to gain admittance to the capital market or to the Nigerian exchange. So we have various pathways for SMEs, and even in there are flexibilities around that. So within the growth board, we have two pathways. We have the entry segment and we have the standard segment. The entry segment is reserved for startups, micro companies, small and medium businesses. The requirements for this particular board: number one, the company must have had 2 years operating track record. I'm sure a lot of businesses here, you've gone beyond that. And for companies that do not have 2 years operating track record, they can also have a core investor or a technical partner that also has 2 years operating track record. We would take that. The companies must also have a minimum rate of 20% revenue growth cumulatively within 2 years. And like I said earlier, that we believe a lot of companies here have scaled and would have even met that requirement already. Then there must be a minimum free float of 10%. What do we mean by free float? Free float is the amount of shares that is available in the market for trade, and this is what allows for liquidity. So remember, I spoke to losing control or not losing control of your business. When you are coming to the market, it is expected that for growth companies in the entry segment, it is expected that you just make 10%. That's the minimum. It can be above if you like. It is expected that you make just 10% available to the public to partake in. Then market capitalization, which is company valuation, should be between 50 million and 500 million. If you check this with what we have on the main board, this is really, the barrier here has really been reduced. Then you must have just a minimum of 25 shareholders, and the major shareholders and the promoters of the company, they must hold at least 50% of the shares for 12 months before they sell. And the main reason for that is that we do not want companies to come list on the exchange, then dump their shares and leave. It has happened in this market before, and that was introduced to curb that. We want to ensure that the promoters, founders are well invested in their business and wouldn't dump after the list on the exchange. We have the second segment, which is the standard segment. That is for medium companies, established firms. So the criteria here is just slightly increased, and only when we come to the free float and the company valuation. So the free float for the standard segment is 15%, and the market capitalization is between 500 million and 4 billion. So more mature companies can find their route via the standard segment. Every other thing remains. Next slide, please. So we thought to just show you companies that are listed on the exchange. I mentioned we have 8 of them listed on the growth board. We thought to just show you one of them, or there are a couple of them, I believe, within this deck that have transformed their company by being a listed company. And the first one we are going to speak to is Chelarams. In 2015, between 2015 and 2017, Chelarams had to restructure their organization to move from a loss processing operation, which was milk, I believe, to industrial chemicals. After that, they were able to obtain their ISO certification, and with this certification, they were able to strengthen their operations with multinationals and large-scale clients. In 2019, they were able to get into a partnership with DMK in Germany. And the reason they were able to get into this partnership is because they were a listed company. And that's because we know international investors or partners and all that, their concern is usually around risk around financials, risk around operations, governance, and even reputation of the company. And Chelarams was able to cure that by being a listed company, and you see how that was cured in a few slides. They were able to cure that by being a listed companies because DMK could now verify their financials because your financials are made public. And DMK also knows that information will be continuously available in the public because companies that are listed are expected to make periodic disclosures. They also, Chelarams was also able to demonstrate that they operate within regulatory oversight. So DMK was able to take a stake and invest and take a bet on Chelarams. Shortly after that, in 2020, okay, I've been told to be mindful of time, so I'll go faster. So, but I'll soon round up, please. So shortly after that, in 2020, Chelarams migrated from the ASEM board to the growth board. The ASEM board has been wound down now to the growth board. And shortly after that, we can see their numbers change. We can see in 2022 to 2023, their profits numbers going high, revenue numbers going high. Aside from the transformation that was able to happen within the Chelarams company, below here, we see a graph that also shows how Chelarams was able to create value for their investors. Within the space of 5 years, from 2021 to 2025, we thought to do a trend of 5 years, the last 5 years. Between 2021 and 2025, the price of Chelarams went up 306%. That is value to the investors. That's value to the founders. I don't know which other financial asset or maybe even other assets will be able to give this kind of return within the same time period. So there's wealth available to be created within the capital market. Next slide, please. Same thing with Living Trust. I'm not going to dwell on it because I'm trying to manage my time. We also see their share price within the last 5 years gone up over 600%. Next slide, please. Same thing with Mikio. Mikio only listed in 2023. And in the last 3 years, they've been able to grow their price by, I believe that is over 500%. So we see that wealth can be created on the Nigerian exchange or the capital market as well. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm rounding off now. Value proposition. So I have alluded to the value companies will get from being a listed company, but at this point, I just want to put them all together. First thing first is companies, you have access to permanent, long-term, patient capital. The key words here are permanent, long-term, and patient. So you have permanent access to capital. It is not a one-time thing. Companies throughout their life cycle as a listed company can repeatedly raise capital via follow-on transaction. After the initial raise you have done, you can also raise via rights issue, follow-on transaction, private placements, and the like. And also, we say it is patient because investors who invest in your companies, they understand that they are investing in the growth of your business. They do not expect a return until this investment has translated to profit. Liquidity. Or before I speak to liquidity, closely related to access to capital is access to a deep pool of institutional and retail investors. Institutional investors such as the pension funds, insurance companies, institutional asset management, and amongst others. And as of today in Nigeria, the pension asset is at over 28 trillion naira, I believe. But the thing is that the pension funds can only invest in companies that are highly regulated and are listed. So there is strong appetite for quality listings, and there's also strong appetite for growth-oriented companies on the market. So there's availability of these funds, but we need to do some work and get businesses listed on the exchange. Then liquidity. The exchange also provides liquidity for businesses. It comes to a time, many businesses, it comes to a point in time whereby businesses or the founders or early investors in the business, they want to monetize value or they want to part liquidate, but they do not want to sell the company in itself. The exchange closes that gap. So on the exchange, there's an opportunity to part liquidate, monetize value, and still have significant control and influence over your business. Then shortly linked to that is price discovery. Companies are able to determine a market valuation for their company, as opposed to if they were private. Valuation of your company will be via bilateral negotiation, and this gives company the opportunity to unlock hidden value, and with that you can also strengthen your negotiations with your partners, because at any point in time the value of your company is known. There's no need to sit down, go back and forth. It's known on a daily basis. Corporate governance. To be a listed company, like I highlighted earlier, you go through disclosures, you go through governance and regulatory oversight. So that already gives you credibility and also helps in structure of your organization, which leads to operational efficiency. Remember, I spoke about informality and the way SMEs run. And this also can be a tool. This also can be a tool for succession planning, because the company now has a life of its own and operates as an independent company, and this allows for transgenerational transfer of wealth. At this point in time, we are scaling companies and growing companies to become household names like the Dangotes. I would even use international companies, names like the Walmarts, that live beyond the founders. They don't just go once the founder is gone, we don't hear about the businesses again. So you transfer wealth from generation to generation. This also enhances, being on a listed company also enhances your visibility. It enhances the company's profile and positioning. Then another thing we do for companies is that we advocate for companies. I just touched on infrastructure deficiency and other things. So we speak to SMEs. We would like to speak with you today. We have best feedback from you. We hear your pain points and we take it to the rooms that matter. For policy that encourage ease of business for SMEs to be enacted. Then lastly, we have the financial literacy initiative. I spoke about micro companies, some of them who have not met our requirements yet. You can also benefit from this. We have our X Academy, whereby we mentor companies, we train companies on all things governance, sustainability, financial reporting, ethics, and the likes. And the curriculum is tailor-made to suit each company's needs. So every company in the room today can begin to take advantage of that initiative from today once we leave the room. Next slide, please. Okay, so that's it. So this is a charge and a call to action for every business here. The capital market is accessible to SMEs, to startups, to micro companies. However, there's work that needs to be done on the businesses side. And we at the Nigerian Exchange, we are fully committed to support you, to provide guidance, and to hold your hand through this process, so that this is not just another workshop, so that this can translate beyond this room and translate to listings and general wealth of the economy and prosperity of the economy. Thank you very much.
Shall we please appreciate her the more? She has bring everything to all of us to really understand the Nigerian exchange group very, very well. And on that note, shall we all rise, please? Shall we all rise, please? Shall we all rise? Let's stretch ourselves a little. Let's just 1 minute to stretch ourselves. Can we do that? Let's stretch ourselves a bit. Yeah? Yeah, we are close to the climax. Don't worry. We're not going to bore you much. So we may take our seat, please. Let's take our seat, please. Let's sit down. Let's sit down. Then can we give ourselves a round of applause, please, for coming this far? Let's do that, please. Let's do that. Yes. And I believe by now we are familiar with one another. Am I right? So let's look at the left and the right and say, good what? Good afternoon. Can we do that? Look at your side and say good afternoon to one another. Let's do that, please, quickly. Let's do that. Let's embrace brotherhood and sisterhood. Well done. I like that. Well done. Well done. Thank you very much for that. There is attention to the car owner, please, of this car, Hyundai KMC 466 AS, please. Where you park, you block some other people to have an access to move out, please. If you are in here, please do us a favor. Please do us a favor to get there and then make an adjustment from where you park. Very quickly, we have had the first presentation. In 1 hour, da suke Hausawa a wannan wuri mun riga mun ji abin da madan ta faɗa. Abin da ta yi overview shi nake cewa da Hausa tsakure. An fuskanta ko tsakure. Ta duba duk abubuwan da ya kamata mu sani akan ƙanana da matsakaitan wato kasuwanci da yadda su kansu ita wannan hukuma ta exchange group take gabaki daya ta kalli abubuwa da ya shafi kamar misali rashin kudin fara ma yin abin da zaka zo ka yi wanda ta fuskanci cewa kusan kashi 60 na ƙanana da matsakaitan kasuwanci da muke da su suna da rashin samun kudin da za su gudanar da wannan kasuwancinsu kashi 60. kun ga yana da kyau wannan taimakon da aka zo ana yi mana mu sake dagewa mu tabbatar da cewa mun amfana da wannan tunanin da aka zo mana da shi daga wannan kashi tun da aka rasa a ce yau muna da kusan kashi 80. ba da bayan haka ta yi magana kan rashin kayan aiki, ta yi magana kan rashin ɗabbaka ƙa'idojin gudanarwa, akwai wato ƙarancin sani game da harkokin samun damar wato faɗaɗa abin da ya shafi matsakaitan kasuwancinmu da kuma rashin faɗaɗa tunani ma akan harkokin da muke yi gaba ɗaya. Da ka dan fara ka dan samu dan wani abu kan sai ka dan fake me kun ga tunanin ya zai riga yin abin da kasuwanci na zai riga habaka. Sannan ta ƙara nuna mana cewa yawanci maha ila yau ba mu da masaniyar me wannan hukumomi suke da shi bankin nan na masana'antu Bank of Industry da kuma shi NGS Group su kansu ba musamman me amfanin su ba sosai. To amma yau wata dama ce ba gashi ana gaya mana su suwaye me suke yi. Muna da kungiyoyi da dama ana da shugabanni duk suna wannan gurin, saboda haka ya kamata mai amfani da wannan damar kamar da ake ta faɗa. Sannan kuma ila yau sun yi mana nuni da cewa ita wannan ainihin hukuma ta gwamnatin tarayya tana da kyakkyawar alaka da sama da kusan kungiyoyi guda 30 wanda take mu'amala da su a kodayaushe a wannan wato ƙasa tamu, kuma suna ba da kyakkyawan taimako akan yadda za a samu kudaden da za a gudanar da bunƙasa kasuwancin da ake da shi shine wannan hukuma take yi. Sannan ha ila yau tana da ruwa da tsaki da kusan duk abin da ya shafi kudade wanda suke misali a cikin gida da wanda suke mana ƙetare da ake samu daga baki da kadarori wanda duk wannan hukuma tana kula da su. Sannan a gurguje ha ila yau ta yi mana nuni da manyan kamfanoni da suka samu cigaba kamar irin su Chalaram, Medicare da sauransu. Wannan kamfanoni da suka samu cigaba sosai suka nuna cewa sun amfana kuma sun bunƙasa sosai yadda ya kamata. Sannan ha ila yau ta ɗan yi mana bayani a takaice akan irin matakai da ake da su idan kana son ka amfana da ainihin abin da wannan hukuma take da shi, wanda sai an ɗan sami wato ya faraga ta samun akalla kuɗi daga ainihin miliyan 50 zuwa miliyan 500, wanda shi ma yana da matukar muhimmanci. Sannan kuma ila yau a bangare na biyu shi kuma sai yana da misali kamar miliyan 500 zuwa biliyan 4, wanda duk wannan idan mutum ya samu za su taimaka yadda ya kamata. Sannan ha ila yau ta ƙara nuna mana irin riba da kuma nasarori da ainihin wannan hukuma ta samu, wanda duk ta yi mana bayanan su ga baki daya, kuma da fatan cewa mutane za su mai da hankali su amfana da abin da ake nuna mana a yau. Wannan dai a takaicen takaicewa gashi nan, ina son da Allah mu ƙara tafa mata yadda ya kamata, da Allah mu tafa mata. Thank you very much. Before we proceed to our second presentation, may I very quickly recognize in our midst of another distinguished person who has been a professional in the field of stock broking, that is stockbrokers in Nigeria. At one time, director and indeed one of the pioneers of the Kidonia Foundation in Kano, and also director in so many companies, more especially Kidonia Securities, and indeed a very key player and very, very powerful someone whom you can at least rely on when you talk about capital market in Kano and Nigeria. I present to you once again Alaji Aminu Dangana. Please, a round of applause for him. You can see he's having a handshake with the lady and then the chairman. Amin Dangana is that vibrant public speaker of our time that you can at least depend on him. For those of us who don't know him, please know him very well. Yes, when you talk about stockbrokers in Kano, just go to his office. He will tell you more of what it entails in that. Having said this, we'll move on to where we can listen to Bank of Industry presentation that will talk about 2025-2027 strategic plan, that is the alternate financing model for the SMEs. And to do this, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I call on the Chief Strategy and Developmental Officer. Okay, but we'll do that. Okay, no problem.
at the back of this institutional transformation, what can you tell investors to reassure? Of course, we have seen changes, but a lot of people here are interested in knowing what can you assure the investing public, the regulatory systems put in place to safeguard what happened in the capital market before, so that people don't lose their savings and investments. Particularly, maybe somebody may think that in spite of the regulatory arrangements, sacred cows may sometimes come and they will be allowed to go. Thank you.
My name is Engineer Daladi Muhammad. I'm just an entrepreneur after retiring. So unfortunate that our system of education here is maybe after you retire, you start thinking of business. I'm already processing agricultural produce in Kano, as well as into fishing and poultry production. We are thinking of also trying to process our agricultural produce and start exporting it abroad. And we have seen a lot of challenges in that issue. When I heard of this training, I was so excited that these two groups are coming together. For quite some time, we have been hearing about the Bank of Industry, that they give loans from federal government to entrepreneurs and so on. We are also very aware that there are some small and medium-scale organizations in Kano and so on. But most of us just hear about just hear about them in the news. We hardly interact with them. From the presentation I have today, I realized that Madam is talking about 50 million above. And if I remember what our traditional leader was saying, that most of our women, in terms of having loan, they can pay back. And most of the women we have, they are from 50 million below. And there's that issue of record keeping. So I realize that your presentation is more on those that have actually grown, not those that are trying to grow. So now our problem here is from your financial literacy that you are talking about, because that is where I would say you are catching on us here in Kano. We need that financial literacy, which our able leader have already said. From my question now is, what is your organization doing to engage us to get more knowledge on financial literacy? Because that issue of record keeping and having your company to be a corporate company is not an easy task. And most of us here in the North, we do things individually. We need to work together as a network to be able to bring up a business. But most of us don't have that knowledge. If not for this type of seminar and workshops, we are all novice in most of all this happening. I hope your organization will put more light on this discussion. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Zachary Aliyu Amadou. I'm the Managing Director of BAS Financial Services. We are a SEC licensed asset management company that deals in Sharia compliant financing only. Why I'm saying this is because I have a question and an advice for both NGX and Bank of Industry. First of all, I have to commend you for doing this, bringing people together, operators and individual business people that require this financing. However, your presentation, as beautiful as it is, would be perfect for a Lagos or Abuja. We understand what you are talking about. You are here in Kano speaking to SMEs. There's a language barrier, number one. Number two, if 100% of the people here come to BOI, 50% of them, when they find out that your loans are interest-bearing, will pull back. So the question and the advice is, BOI, NGX, leveraging on the new platform of the federal government for the halal industry. We, capital market operators in the non-interest capital market space, are ready and willing and hungry for opportunities. We are the people that will hold their hands as financial advisors, give them all the information and knowledge, walk them through how to qualify for a growth board, and then bring them to the exchange. Am I right? Because you cannot replicate this a million times. We are asset management companies. I have colleagues here. We have budgets for these things. We are looking for opportunities. If there are no opportunities, we create them. So collaborate with us, partner with us, and we will mobilize, advise, and bring these individuals to you. Number one, we get business. Number two, you get business. Number three, we create businesses in the north that will rival a Bua group and a Dangote. Because the knowledge that those two individual men have is what we are trying to pass on to everybody here. We are ready and willing to do that for you, and it is capital market operators that you can collaborate with that can actually help you. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take these first three questions first, and I believe my CEO or my chairman would answer some of those questions. Then I take others.
Okay, let me suggest that Aminu Dangana and the CEO of NGS should join us here, because this is an interesting question. I believe there is need for us to explain both in English and in Hausa. She's going to take some of the answers. The CEO will take some of the answers. I mean, then we'll all be on the same here to satisfy and respond to most of those questions. And I believe we can be able to achieve more. So you can be able to. So I believe the first question about the 2008-2009 market crash. Okay. So let me invite the CEO of the NGX so that he can respond on that. Then me and Aminu Dangana can be able to add. Apart from being the chairman of the NGX, I'm a stockbroker. Aminu Dangana is a stockbroker. And if I can recall, we graduated the same day with Alhaji Aminu Dangana on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange in those days. So I believe we know the thinking of our people, we know the expectation of our people, and we know what we are going to explain to them, that they can be on the same level with us. Whatever we can to bring this awareness of the capital market. We're always proud to say, mention the issue of Dangote, mention the issue of Bua. We believe we can get more of Buas, more of Dangotes here, and that's why the NGS is here. So on this note, let me invite the CEO of the NGS so that he can explain about the issue of that market crash and where we are today. If people have seen where we are coming from and where we are today, I believe those that have entered after that market crash as today, they are the ones smiling to their banks, getting their dividends, getting their bonus, and that's why it's called a market. A market can go up and can come down. But I believe the NGS CEO can explain more so that we'll all be on the same level.
Thank you, Chairman. Very good question, because it's very important for investors to understand the dynamics of the market. Part of the issues that happened the last time was really more like weak regulatory oversight. So there were so many players in the market, just like we're seeing now. The market was up in a very sudden way. And so people didn't realize that markets go up and markets come down. And so there was not enough adequate investor education to guide the investors. But things have since changed significantly at the NGX. First, we are now a demutualized group, as was shown in the diagram. So we have a company called NGS Regulation that is dedicated to market regulation. So they oversee the activities of the listed companies. They also oversee the activities of the stockbrokers, we call them trader license holders, that invest on behalf of the market. And we also have initiatives such as Investor Protection Fund, right? Trade Guaranteed Fund. Investor Protection Fund simply means that if you as an investor has invested through a stockbroker and the stockbroker goes bust, your money is not lost because that that investor protection fund can be assessed, and it has been assessed to address some of the issues where some of the brokers were, for lack of a better word, were engaging in sharp practices. So those sort of issues have been brought to the SEC, brought to the exchange, and they have been resolved. So Trade Guarantee Fund is also another element that ensures that trades do not fail. So that when you sell your shares, you won't hear tomorrow that, sorry, I can't pay because the trade has failed. We've never had trade failures because of the Trade Guarantee Fund. But beyond that, we now have a stronger technology backbone. We have never had a day of no trading at the NGX in the last 5 years and more, because we have a world-class trading system. We call it NASDAQ trading system that is very effective. And that trading system now allows investors to have retail online access to our market. So a lot of the stockbrokers have retail online access that will allow you as an investor to monitor the market well. So you're not just waiting to hear what your stockbroker has to tell you. You can monitor transactions as they're going. And when your shares are sold, once your account is touched, you get a CSS, a bank statement, a bank alert when money comes from your sale of your shares, or when your account at the CSS is. So investors are more aware of what is happening in their market. Today, we have 1.8 million active retail investors. And you know, in the capital market plan, the plan was to have 5 million active retail investors. But because of all the investment NGX, and thanks to the NGX group chairman that is here, you can see he's a very busy man, but he's left everything because it's very important. Market development is really important in the strategy of the NGX. So what you need to understand is that the amount of investment NGX has made in technology has made it now possible for investors not to suffer the sort of issues that they suffered in the past, you know. So today, we are recalibrating that 5 million retail investors to now 30 million retail investors. And we believe that Kano is a good place to get more investors in our market. What does that mean? So today, we're talking about how businesses can access the capital market and raise money for their businesses, which is possible. We're also saying that you can, as an investor, invest in the capital market, and your investments will be protected, and your investments will offer you decent return. Our stock market last year returned 52%. That's the all-share index. But we have products like the ETFs that return over 1,000% to investors, the new gold ETF. So investor education is something that is key. And the NGS has set up what we call the X Academy that is dedicated to investor education, ensuring that they understand the dynamics of the market, working with different partners to make sure that they are well informed, not in the past when they were in the dark. And technology allows them to have real-time online access to their investment, so no trading license holder can play tricks on them. But in summary, regulation is higher now because we have what we call a risk-based regulatory approach. We don't wait for something to happen. We try and create processes and practices and procedures that prevent anybody trying to take advantage of anything in the market. Our surveillance system is stronger, so we're able to work with EFCC, work with the Nigerian police. So people who try to defraud the market are instantly caught and dealt with. Even trading license holders that try to be smart by trying to second-guess the system are easily identified because of technology. You know, you can't hide anything when there's technology. They can be identified, and you may have read this in the news, how some people have been dealt with for trying to take advantage of the market. So everything in the market it's a continuous process. But I think the chairman, the group chairman, has made a conscious effort, maybe because of his background as a stockbroker, to ensure that the market is configured in a way that will protect the rights of investors, protect their investment, and make sure that they are able to come in large numbers through technology to grow their wealth and access the capital market. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, CEO Jude. We have done a lot and we are doing a lot. I want to assure the prospective investors here that this is the right time for you to take advantage of this opportunity so that you can join the bandwagon of this Nigerian capital market. We are preparing to bring the Dangote refinery in the next 2 months. And that is the talk not only in Nigeria, I think all over the world. And we cannot afford for people in Kano not take advantage of that. The CEO have mentioned that our market returns over 50% last year. As of today, our market returns over 30% returns. I don't think there is a business that you can be able to invest and be getting 30-50% returns apart from the Nigerian capital market. It's an opportunity that you have gotten today with the caliber of the staff that have come from the NGS. Take that opportunity, discuss with them, liaise with them, see how to assess and bring yourself to the Nigerian capital market. Let me invite Alhaji Aminu Dangara so that he can summarize and answer for the question that my brother have already asked, which I believe the words of encouragement and the processes and procedures, the checks and balances were put in place in NGS. I believe you are convinced that we'll not go back to that era. I can see you raising your head, but people need to know that from the explanation of the CEO is a word of assurance that we cannot go back from where we are coming from in 2008. We have already moved on. So Aminu Dangara, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Kamar yadda chairman na stock exchange ya faɗa, mun shiga wannan kasuwa tun wajen 1997. Muka yi qualifying as stock brokers. Daga wannan lokacin exchange ta yi going through transformation, canje-canje. Muna wannan kasuwar aka kafa abin da ake kira tribunal, wanda ina ɗaya daga cikin waɗanda aka naɗa as members na wannan tribunal. Duk wata rigima da ta taso a wannan kasuwa, mutum zai iya kai ƙara a share mishi hawayen shi. Ɗaya kenan. Kamar yadda kuma aka gani, Nigerian Stock Exchange ba kamar yadda take da ba ne. An kasa ta yanzu kashi 3. Kusan da Stock Exchange, stock brokers ne suke da ita kawai. Amma yanzu an sayar da ita. Aka ɗauki wani ɓangare aka sayarwa da stock brokers, sannan aka ba wa sauran investors suka saya. To, abubuwan da aka ƙirƙiro waɗanda za su kare wa mutane hakkinsu shi ne abin da ake kira Investor Protection Fund. Wato wani kuɗi ne da aka ware wadda kasuwar ita ce take tattara kuɗin nan take aje shi. Ko da an samu wani misali taɓargaza a kasuwar wadda ba a fatan haka, shi investor kusan zai tafiyar shi salun alin ba abin da zai shafe shi. Saboda duk wani cutar shi da aka yi, wato idan stock broker ya cuce shi, ko registrar ya cuce shi, ko issuing house ya cuce shi, to daga wannan asusu za a ɗauka a biya shi hakkin shi. Kuma a yanzu kamar yadda muke magana, wato kusan kullum wannan kasuwa tana bibiyar waɗanda suke mu'amala a wannan kasuwa don su ga cewa ko sun yi kuskure ko ba su yi kuskure ba. Kamar yadda shi CEO ya faɗa, kwanan nan akwai 'yan kasuwa guda 5 da aka hukunta su saboda sun ƙirƙiro da waɗansu dabaru da za su cuci mutane. Aka gane, aka kira su, aka yi penalizing ɗinsu. Akwai wanda aka caje shi miliyan 90, sauran kuma miliyan 50-50. Kuma aka ja kunnensu cewa in suka sake yi, to za a fitar da su daga kasuwar ko ma a ɗaure su. Saboda haka a yanzu ana tafiya ce, tafiya ta taka tsantsan, ba kamar yadda aka taho da ba. Kuma kasuwan nan kusan haɓaka take yi. Kamar yadda shi chairman ya faɗa, wato akwai Dangote refinery wanda kwanan nan da watanni 2 za ta zo kasuwa, duk wanda bai tara kuɗi bai tara. Kuma a nan Kano ga tireloli nan na shigowa, ga kuɗaɗe na shigowa, amma abin takaici shi ne mutanen Kano ba su cika yi rawar gani a wannan kasuwa ba. Mun san cewa akwai waɗanda sun riga sun yi wayo tintini, amma har yanzu akwai buƙatar kamfanonin da suka haɓaka, da muke ganin tirelolin da ake kawo shinkafa, gyaɗa, iri da waɗansu abubuwa su ma su zama kamar Dangote ɗin, su zama kamar buwa. Da yanzu a Najeriya ana maganar attajirai a duniya, dole a yi maganar waɗannan mutanen guda biyu. Kuma wallahi tallahi zan rantse muku da ba su zo wannan kasuwar ba, da ko labarinsu ba za a ji ba. Dangote ba zai zama shi ne wanda ya fi kuɗi a Afirka ba, saboda ita wannan kasuwa tana da sirri. Kamar gida ne, idan ka gina gida ko ya kai 1 biliyan naira, in baka tashi sai da shi ba, ba za ka san value ɗin shi ba. Kowa zai zo wuce kawai ce wannan gidan an gina shi wajen shekaru 10 da suka wuce miliyan 50 ne. Amma ranar da ka zo ka ce zan sai da gidana ko zan sai da wani ɓangaren kasuwata, a lokacin ne za a ɓaɓɓago maka wato value ɗin wannan, darajar wannan investment da kai. Saboda haka ina kiran mutanen Kano, don Allah da Annabi kansu ya waye, su bar wannan yayi na cewa a'a zan kankame kamfani har sai na mutu, ‘ya'yana suna karɓar gado su je su dinga sayan motoci na banza da wofi. Kafin a ce shekara 2-3 wannan dukiyar ta ɓace. Yanzu ga Northern Nigeria Flour Mills tun wajen 1973 aka yi kotin nata on stock exchange. Har yanzu tana nan sai haɓaka take. PS Mandridis shi ma ya yi kotin wannan kamfani, amma saboda ya rasu kuma ba shi da zuriya mai yawa, kusan kamfanin aka yi delisting ɗin shi. To saboda haka muna kiran kamfanoni kamar su Gerawa, waɗanda idan ka ga tirelolin da suke layi na shinkafa, paddy rice, kai ka ɗauka ba inda ake yin shinkafa kamar Kano. To muna kiran irinsu su Umza su zo su zama coated, yadda wannan dukiyar tasu za ta haɓaka, za ta ɗore, za ta fasin daga wannan generation zuwa wannan generation. To a takaice wannan Nigerian Stock Exchange sun zo ne enlightenment program, sun zo ne su taimaka mana mu mutanen Kano, mu kanmu ya waye cewa fa arziki da ake yanzu ya canja, ba irin na da ba ne, ba irin na kundila ba ne. A'a, arziki ne wanda zai iya haɓaka cikin ƙanƙanin lokaci inda ka sa himma a kan shi. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala.
I believe MC, the second question, I will allow my colleague so that she can respond on that, on the minimum requirement of the 50 million and the 500 million.
Okay, thank you for your question. So I'll address that question where you asked about those who are valued at 50 million and below. First off, the philosophy around the growth board is to accommodate as many SMEs as we can on the capital markets. But we also need to appreciate the fact that investors in the capital market, we have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure and safeguard their investments. So in as much as we want to accommodate as many companies so that companies can grow and scale at their own phase, we still need to have certain threshold. And that's why where we're coming from a place of 4 billion, which is what we had for a very long time on the main board. And we have brought this as low as 50 million entry. So we want to be able to accommodate as many. And those who are below the 50 million, we acknowledge your contribution to the economy at large. At the moment, I would say with the Nigerian exchange, we want to handhold you. Take advantage of our financial literacy initiative. Start off there. Start off with the trainings. Start off with the guidance. Start off with the mentorship. And with that, can even start to begin to see clarity on your numbers. And I believe in no time, you will grow and mature and scale to the threshold which will be able to admit you to the NGX. Then to also respond to one of our capital market operators, thank you very much. And that is why we are here. Like my chairman mentioned during his speech, he said, this is my CEO's first time in Kano, but definitely not going to be our last time. So we are here, and this is just the first of its kind. And at the end of this session, we would also want to engage with you. Like you said, some of the language we might be speaking to businesses, we must be speaking the language that businesses in Abuja, businesses in Lagos understand. So we want to collaborate with you, and that is why we also brought capital market operators here, financial advisors, asset managers here as well, not just businesses, so that we can collaborate. And the NGX is, we're innovative. We are not just static in what we do. So we want to work with you and continue to innovate to meet every need of the markets, regardless of the region. Thank you very much. So please, let's speak after the event.
Thank you very much, Chairman NGX. Okay. Thank you. Beyond the representation of BOI here, my portfolio is actually the executive director in charge of micro, small, and medium enterprises. So to answer directly to that, is a lady, right, that wanted clarity on why 50 million and above. What happens to people below 50 million? So for people below 50 million, we will look after you. No, you are not being left behind. That our business in BOI is to look out for people like you. So what do I mean by this? At BOI, we have such loans at very, very discretionary rate and tenure that will suit your business. Particularly for the female gender, we have currently running, we have such window as GLOW. What is GLOW? GLOW is guaranteed loan for women. You can take up to 50 million in that place at a very shikini interest of 70%. And we're 7%. How many percent? 7%. 7%. So what that means is that if you have access to such, because your business is below 50 million, we can then imagine injecting a 50 million naira into your business from BOI at 7% for such a long tenure. What you then have is, over some time, you're able to come to the NGX and say, look, I am now worth 100, 200, 300 million, and they can hold you for the rest. We also have BDSPs. BDSP is business service development providers, where they can also help to handhold you, teach you about structuring your business, formalizing your business, CAC registration, tax compliance, having the appropriate structure of corporate governance and the likes that will make you a very beautiful bride for the people in the NGX as well. So when you scale above that, those are kind of requirements, we just pass you on. Then lastly, or more importantly, to the glory of Almighty Allah, the central bank has granted us the non-interest banking license. So this is also a very veritable avenue where my own constituent, the micro, small, and medium enterprise, will have direct access or channel into the Bank of Industry, particularly for the northern part of Nigeria and for a city like Kano. So while we're waiting for the last round of approval in terms of product approvals and stuff like that, we will be communicating with you more often on this kind of businesses. I just hope that helps to clarify the 50 million and below threshold question. Thank you.
I think on this note, we'll go back to our seats. We'll take the second presentation. Then we'll still come back if there is need for more questions and answers so that we can be able to clarify either from Bank of Industry or from NGS or the Nigerian capital market in general. MC, over to you.
If you enjoy them and you benefit out of them, please give them a round of applause. Thank you. Yes. It's quite interesting indeed having all these respected gentlemen, sharing their wealth of knowledge and experience of where we are here with a sound promise that they will be back. Yes, if they need be. And I believe they will. At this point, without much ado, it's about time to invite our next presenter from the Bank of Industry. And this time around, as earlier on mentioned, we're going to look at strategic plan, and then that strategic plan is going to be conducted by someone who really holds the A's. Very vibrant, because this is the second time I'm meeting him, and then here I've known of him, and I could say a lot out of what I've gathered out of him, that time when I met him. He's a speaker that you could really enjoy his presentation, well articulated. Just to cap it all, he is someone to appreciate the more. So I present you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that man, the Chief Strategy and Development Officer, Dr. Isa Omagu. Please, a round of applause for him.
Assalamu alaikum. Nageswa. Nice to meet you all. So I'm from Bank of Industry. I just came in on a Rano flight that just arrived in Kano, and I'm very happy to be here. I don't know if you just want to project my presentation so that I can go straight to it and save a lot of time. But before they project the presentation, one of the things I'd like to say, okay, sorry, again, all protocols duly observed, sirs. I'm not particularly very, so I apologize if I've missed the protocols. Forgive me. But thank you. One of the things that the last but one speaker said regarding the entry or the threshold for entering the capital market is the bit about ensuring that as many as possible, because they have a fiduciary responsibility, they do not want a situation where whatever money they're investing is not protected. And then she mentioned something about they need to innovate. Peter Drucker, in his book on entrepreneurship, said that if you truly want to innovate, what you should do is, first of all, you need to go out, like we're all out here now. You need to look around. So we're all looking around, hoping that we'll find the right contact. We need to ask questions, we need to listen, and then we innovate. The partnership between NGX and Bank of Industry is not a new partnership. We had a session sometime last year in our office in Lagos. And what we're doing here in a nutshell is almost like meeting the Kano community, potential investors, our customers, MSC customers, to kind of co-create solutions. And that is one of the ways that innovation actually happens. If I'm going to show quickly our strategy house as a bank and what we are doing to support MSMEs to get to the point where they can get more formalized and then be able to get the minimum requirement, for example, to enter into the NGX and reap all its benefits. So I think it's a very good partnership that we're entered into with NGX, and we're going to be working strategically with our MSMEs to get them, bring them up to scratch, in order for them to be able to access the capital market and to enjoy the benefits of the capital market. So this is that's my outline, introduction down to conclusion and call to action. Okay, so I mean, look, we're formed in 1959. I'm not going to bore you with all these details. So this year we'll be 66 years old, and at 66, I think we're reasonably very wise and have some level of depth to be able to provide advice and financing. We're owned by the federal government through Central Bank of Nigeria and Ministry of Finance Incorporated. What we do is truly to measure ourselves down the bottom of the pyramid to be able to provide some kind of value for people to be able to access advice and to also access money, financing. And as much as possible, we also try to create access to market so that when you have your produce, we can guide you to take it to where you can make sell and make money ultimately. Sometimes we even ensure people to take your product if you're in production. So the collaboration between the Bank of Industry and NGX just shows a shared commitment. Thank you. Okay, so I already mentioned that we're in partnership with NGX, and we're very committed to ensuring the partnership helps us to be able to hold people down and bring people from down MSMEs to a level where they can enjoy the capital market benefit. And we also go to the market to raise money to fund MSMEs as well. So it's a two-way collaboration, and I think that we're able to ultimately ensure that we create some value and transform Nigeria's industry. MSMEs are very important in the national economy everywhere in the world. In Germany, for example, 95% of the economy is due to MSMEs. And I'm sure that some of you here are doing serious productive activities at the MSME stage that's helping our economy to stay afloat. So thank you very much for all your hard work. But this partnership between MBO and NGX is supposed to now open up more possibilities, both in terms of capacity and also in terms of financing, in order for us to be able to ensure that people get more wealth and help Nigeria's industrial transformation. These are some of the things that we are very familiar with. No money, no market, no capacity, then you're producing, there's no infrastructure. Those are challenges that everybody is familiar with. And I think that we're, as a bank and working in partnership with some of our, like NGX, finding creative ways to raise money to support infrastructure development, to support access, market creation, and so on and so forth. So there's a gap of about 13 trillion naira that is required for us to be able to truly move the needle as far as the market is concerned. This is where we want to be the best bank in Africa, doing the right thing according to the best practices. We support, we give advice, we also give money. And we help businesses to start, to modernize, to diversify, and also ultimately, if there's a problem, for us to support, to rescue you from failing. We have about 14 sectors we intervene in. And we are created in a way that we're a government agent, a fiscal agent. We're owned by CBN and MOVI, like I said before. And everything we're doing is to help the government achieve its development agenda. And that's why we work with partners across board to ensure that we do the right thing as per government. And I think we're making very good progress with that. So we normally catalyze, try to make things happen by bringing money from people that have surplus to the people that need it in the MSME space especially. So this is our house. At the foundation of our house, the critical part is partnership and collaboration. And that's why it is important for us to continue to work with the NGX to make the progress. Ultimately, what we want to achieve, our ambition, is to transform or spearhead Nigeria's industrial transformation in a way that to come up with solutions that can solve problems for both underserved, like MSMEs, and high impact, like infrastructure, that's a problem for MSMEs. MSMEs are central to the way we think, the way we act, and the way we do business as BOI. And so coming here to Kano is very critical in getting some kind of feedback on how better we can do our development banking intervention. I'm trying to stay within the time. Okay, this is just like our own narrative of what we've done, or what we did in 2025. We've done a lot. we're already putting it out there for people to see. We'll share it with everybody to see. So I don't have to go into the details. But a lot is happening. But key is that in 2025, we disbursed about 0.7 trillion naira in this market. And then we supported a lot of MSMEs, some of them to start, so there are startups, and then the ones that are already existing, we give them money to be able to grow their businesses, to scale. Scaling will be a whole lot better by the time you float on NGX platform into the future. So in conclusion, Nigeria is nothing without the MSMEs. And any organization, whether it's NGX or BOI or government agency that would truly want to bring about the desired change, then they must come out like this to listen to people, to know what the issues are, so that we can together, we can co-create the solutions. So it's not that we stay in Lagos or Abuja and then say this is what is needed in Kano. I think that's why this team is very important. And many of us had to come here from very many parts of the country. My colleagues, some of them came from Port Harcourt, Enugu and Co, because it's very important to the bank. So we need to be able to continue to work together as an ecosystem. You know, NGX, partners, MSMEs, BOI, government, in order for us to be able to come up with solutions that can help to change the lives of our people into the future and cause a very major, significant change to the way that people live their lives. So MSMEs, formalization helps them to get to a level where they can make money and they can now list on NGX. So, and we're very strong in providing advice services for them to get formalized, to get to a level where they can get the money to go to the NGX to make more money. So we're in cahoots and we're doing everything possible to ensure to achieve the objective. So we need to continue to partner to develop with organized private sector, develop scalable opportunity, to be able to tap into the opportunities that are there in this economy, and it's a huge economy actually, but it's very informal. So we need to formalize, we need to provide support, we need to provide money for them to eventually make it to a level where the country will be better off for it. So ecosystem support and shareholder commitment is critical to achieving our mandate. And I believe that we have the very strong support of our government to be able to deliver on our mandate as a Bank of Industry, hoping to transform Nigeria's industry to a level where everybody will be reasonably very okay. Thank you very much and God bless. Okay. Ask questions. Yes. So I'm available to take any questions. I think I have like how many slides, but I've been able to try and compress it to meet the chairman's.
Okay, thank you very much. My questions, sorry, my name is Alhaji Abdul Salam Lamido. I'm from Kaduna. And I have gone through the presentation from last week up to the presentation done today. We realize the facility is going to be provided from the small holder farmers. Generally, all people here as agricultural stakeholders. And the facility has been categorized into different categories from small, medium, and large. What I wanted to say is that considering when you come to the cereal crops, considering the time lag for the rainy season is approaching, I don't know whether the Bank of Industries has outlined the kind of criteria and the expression of interest and the time for disbursement to meet the requirement of these wet seasons. I don't know whether it has been stated or not. What I'm suggesting is that we need to have, rain don't start from the south. We have about 5 geographical vegetations, from the mangrove, from the ocean, tropical rainforest, Guinea savanna, Sudan savanna, like within this area, and Sahel savanna extended out of Kano State. So I'm suggesting we should have a kind of modality or a criteria of when to send the expression of interest, when to get the disbursement to meet the requirement to enable our stakeholders to invest and to get back of the loan in time. And if it is going to be in this 2026. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just hold on. Keep your hands, please. Keep your hands. One of our special guests, especially the representative of His Highness the Emir of Kano, Regirma Shekin Shanin Kano, that we have learned a lot out of him from the time he came in up to this very moment. He has some other engagements to attend, and out of that, he begged to leave us, but he urged us, as he told me, to inform you that this is a good thing that the two agencies brought to Kano. And he wants you to remain seated attentively to the last presentation, because at the end of the day, there is going to be a working document that the two agencies will look into and possibly give it out to the federal government for possible ratification of what has come out of what we are doing today. So please bear this in mind. In a moment, I would like to invite him and then the chairman and then the executive directors to please join him for a historical photograph, so that in the end, he shall continue to be remembered of what we are witnessing today. So please bear with us. The photographers, please, quickly. Okay. Any other person? Oh, it's okay. All right. So that's making the gender balance. Please, a round of applause for them. It's okay. Yes. And it looks more colorful. Are you guys catching up? Good. Okay. So yes. So please, those who are willing to ask questions, feel free. Feel free.
Okay.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I am by name Abubakar Muhammad Abu Mariam Al-Kanawi, Marketing Manager of Lindsay Global Nigeria Limited. We are into coffee and tea business. Thank you very much. Standing on the existing protocol. I have two questions. One is question, one is observation. For the SMEs, going to the BOI, in Kano, due to the religion aspect in us, we don't want to collect money that is attached to anything that is attached to interest because of the way we have been taught about it, that is like fighting between you and God. So now, is there anything that you people organize for people in Kano and some places like Jigawa and other places that we can have loan that doesn't have any interest in it, like free interest loan in Kano? Is there anything organized for that, please? Because we will need that. If you have that, I'm very sure that a lot of people who are in business in Kano are going for that. And the second one, which is observation, I would like BOI and NGX, more especially since the chairman is here. Thank you for having thank you for having you here. We appreciate having you, and the next governor of Gombe State, inshallah. I want to say that, please, why can't you people be organizing such program in Hausa, where you can be inviting people to come and speak with them in Hausa, do the presentation in Hausa, so that they can understand it very well. It's not that we don't hear English or we don't understand English, but we value our language. You understand? And more especially bringing on together people that are together with us, people like maybe Dr. Bashir Aliyu, people in Kano who are in this stock exchange. They know everything about that. They can come and explain it to us the way we understand it, because we have a belief of past experience. A lot of people have come with all this necktie. They will come and tell you lie, and at the end of the day, you are going to miss your money. And we have a lot of billionaires in this market that is very close to us here, which is Farm Center, Kontinkwari. They are very youth like me who are moving with billions of nairas, millions of dollars. Thank you very much. So please, we would like them to come into this exchange, but explain to them in Hausa. Thank you very much. That's just.
Sorry, I want to say reference my name. I'm the managing director of the Science Park Academy. My question goes to for a company that has a holding of a group of companies, if you want to grow your company in the stock market, is it that you are going to register your company individually, or you are going to put a full holding company into a passport? Because I've seen the case of Dangote. Dangote's made is loaded at Dangote's space. Dangote's sugar is loaded at Dangote's sugar. Now it's already sold to the board. So the issue of registration, can you register the group of companies to have for all the subsidiaries, or you need to register each and every company independently? Then finally, my presentation to SMEs, for example, here in the north, particularly, most of the questions we are asking to kindly not for them to answer. Normally, we need to wait. You cannot run a business without mentorship, without having a PhD around it. PhD is business support service provider. Who will get every nitty-gritty? Some of these are sometimes we find it difficult to come together and work with common goal, which I think all of us to do. We always want regulators to do our job for us. When somebody is telling you that minimum requirement to be gotten in a just of 50 million naira, somebody is what opportunity to go that. How do you expect an investor to invest in a company with barely less than $50,000? Please be serious. There are countries where we know, sorry sir, it's important. We have certain to be made known in terms of that is what we share. So please and please, let us find out when it's like any SME will come together, maybe your challenge, maybe I can provide solution. I can solve your problem. Why not I tell you this solution? Why are we always opening up similar businesses? Everybody is having pure carbon. Who told you that one factory cannot register 100 products of your work? With one factory, we naturally can register 100 products. Nobody should pay for that. But I just want to put another factory there, another factory. I will tell you what example we made. Machineries in Nigeria are having junction more than 65%. Most of our machineries. So there's no need for you to go and invent the food again. I just asked our European factory. She used it for just 4 hours. Why can't you come inside and go to your processor? But with me having your processor, you don't need to have a factory. She will just give you an MOU you sign. So she will never give you number of her own factory as a processor. And automatically you have your product going to the market. So please know that let's come together.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Engineer Mustafa Hussaini. I am invited by Bank of Industry to this very workshop. I'm here with I'm here together with my our company secretary Hussaini Usman, and first I met BOI when I was producing sachet water, and then they advised me to expand into bottled water, and I immensely benefited from loans from BOI. Today I'm one of the leading bottled water factories in the north. My question is, I have two companies rather. One is bottled water company and the other is service providing company. My question goes to the NGX. Now, if I want to list the two companies, one is giving me profit of up to 50% per annum and the other one is 25% per annum. Now, if I want to list the two companies now, how will the pricing of my shares will be? Thank you.
Essentially, what that will do is first confidence, especially the financial sector. For the capitalization of government enterprises in Nigeria. And particularly in Kano State, a lot of civil servants were able to acquire shares in various companies, which some of the companies will get and some are a lot of people invested in that process. And a lot of value is still lying in that investment. We also have a lot of unclaimed dividends, which is being reported annually that millions or billions of naira lying there as unclaimed dividends. And a lot of families, millions in Kano, have those dividends. And there are no way they can claim them because of the process involved in the problem process. So what I want to say is, what is the NGX doing to reduce that process? Because we know when that thing happens, there was no when the BBA came, everybody must have one single name. They are learning there. Because of that, they lost confidence in the process entirely. We know that for people to invest in companies, they have to enjoy the anytime you talk to people who come together, they will say, how can we create what we have millions of voices saying that we don't know what to do about it. And then those that are able to do somewhere and also level
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm standing here today as a shareholder of Nigerian Asset Group, and at the same time, I'm the BDSP of Bank of Industry Limited. My question is two. The first question goes to the NGS Group. As a shareholder of Nigerian Asian Group, recently we experienced a downturn on the share price of the Nigerian Asian Group. As at 10th of April, last Friday, the market closed at rate of 108 per share. While yesterday, we woke up with a crashing of about 26% to 139.5%, 139.5 per share, which is like a lose of about 26% of investment. I think that is a worry for an investor to just wake up in the morning and see that about 26% of your investment gone off. And my second question is for the Bank of Industry Limited. As the new investors, is there any preparation that have been made or arrangement whereby people can source out a loan from Bank of Industry and invest it into a capital market? That's my question.
Just last year, there was a training that took place on active value trust by National Trust Stored Research Institute, where they had the theoretical. After that training, during that training, they invited Export Promotion Council to come and assist them to say that there are opportunities for export this and petroleum. After that training again, Export Promotion Council invite us to business training again. Tell them how to get our goods outside Nigeria. During that training, they invited Valentine, Custom, NAMDAC, and every other person. I was surprised that I did not see Bank of Industry. Only Keystone Bank was invited. We were all surprised. Luckily, that person who represented Keystone said they have Islamic window in their activities. What I'm trying to say is there no any senior officer of Bank of Industry in Kano that liaise with all these federal organizations so that whenever there's any important activities like that, we now know Bank of Industry is very, very close to us. If not for this gathering today, My thinking is Bank of Industry is meant for the best SE, and the big men that have been given big loans. It is from now that Bank of Industry, I realize that Bank of Industry is meant for everybody. So please, can talk to your panel man and be able to work with other organizations so as to enlighten us what they are doing and how we can communicate with them. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for all the very helpful questions. When I started making the presentation, I said that one of the ways to innovate or to solve problems is to go out there, to look around, to listen, to ask questions, and ultimately, hopefully, be able to come up with a solution that will fix the problem. The total of 8 questions asked. 2 of them are targeted at NGX. So, Judy, on your own. But the 6 relate to Bank of Industry and what we need to do. In no particular order, when the ED, MSME, gave a brief speech, not long after I got in, he mentioned that we now have non-interest banking license from the Central Bank of Nigeria. And I think everybody clapped for it. So maybe the person missed it. So we already have a non-interest banking window. The champion of it, Jelilat here. So the champion of it, and who is quite strong as far as non-interest banking is concerned, is here, Jelilat. So perhaps if there is a session, she may be part of it, or maybe afterwards people can, during networking, need to get further clarification. But hello, sir. We have already a license from Central Bank for non-interest banking. Just shows that, and I think we also listen over time to this kind of feedback, and we're able to now push for a CBN license. The current EDMSME has a CBN background, so you can see that we have some small long leg in that place. So we're home and dry as far as that is concerned. But also at the point I used to oversee IDIS, the bank. IDIS is a federal government initiative that is total of $280 million, but for investment in digital and creative enterprises. And in that IDIS, there are other partners like African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and the French Agency for Development. And the ISDB one, the one from Islamic Development Bank, is for Murabada or some kind of stuff. So it's targeted at Islamic banking principle. And so everything we're doing, apart from BOI now having a license, we also have federal government collaboration where we're working with ISDB, Islamic Development Bank, to be able to provide funding for those people who don't want to pay interest. In terms of targeting our disbursement, to seasons, that's my understanding of the question. We're not really Bank of Agriculture. We're Bank of Industry. So we're very careful not to enter into the mandates of our sister parastatals. However, we believe that, and I think somebody mentioned something about value chain, it is important that we cannot do industry without considering origination in terms of even agriculture. So as much as possible, we're doing all sort of collaboration and partnership with relevant agencies of government that will help us able to achieve our industrial transformation objective. So if, for example, you're doing food processing or agro-processing, and want to do backward integration, that means you're likely to want to produce agriculture so they can feed your this thing. It's a different conversation. So we have those, so these are handled on a case-by-case basis. Disbursements are done based on your need. And ideally, when you come to the bank, I said we don't just give money, we also give advice. So if you sit down with a BOI banker, and then you let the person understand your business model, then the solution, either financing or advisory, will be structured to solve that problem. So we do targeted disbursement, but based on understanding of your business. And it's on a case-by-case basis. I hope that helps. Another thing that is important to note is that in Kano, is Aminu here? We have a BOI presence in Kano, but beyond the physical location, We also are present on social media. And you can also check some things out on the website. So it's not only physical presence, you can also reach out to us digitally, and that can be helpful. And then you can also, we have a hotline, customer care. Regardless of anywhere you are in the world, on the customer care, customer care line, hotline, on our website or on our other social media platform, you can actually reach out to us, and I can guarantee you that you'll be attended to. Why do I know that you'll be attended to? Because I'm also overseeing, there's a federal government agency called PEBEC that wants to see how well MDAs are this is. So they actually, they're like our auditors. So they're checking how we're doing. So we cannot put a customer care line on our website and somebody calls it and it doesn't work. There'll be a problem. So we are constantly being monitored, even though we're also self-regulating. But you can reach out to us both physically and digitally. To the point about our operating model, in terms of the way we intervene, the Ajia asked that question. You are very spot on. Only yesterday, we had a workshop with the chief advisor to the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment. And as if you were there, Madam, one of the things we discussed yesterday was they need to have signature projects to start with on having a plug-and-play location where MSMEs can come there and do their business. I don't know if I'm making any sense. So it's not only giving you advice or giving you money. We're also saying we want to have some kind of presence in certain parts of the country where people can come, MSMEs can come and plug and play. We actually have some things we're working on already. MSME, we call MSME clusters. Maybe we're not talking about them strong enough, but I think that what you are saying is correct, and we're also working in that direction. But hopefully, we'll be able to expand it move much faster. So you come there, it's one-stop shop. You get advice, you get money, and you also get infrastructure. So it will significantly reduce, because when I presented very briefly, I said the problems are lack of finance, lack of capacity, lack of infrastructure. So if we know that those are the problems, what are we doing about it as BOI? One of the things we are doing is we now begin to create like industrial parks or clusters where we can have the infrastructure deployed and people can come there and plug and play. So it will be a one-stop shop where you can actually get everything in one place. Access to market, access to finance, access to advice, and then you already have the infrastructure. So it's a future, but the future is already here. So thank you for bringing it out more clearly in this particular conversation. Local language delivery. I'm aware, for example, that we're working on something where, at least for the 3 major languages, there will always be exclusion. Because I understand that we have over 250 languages in the country. So, but we're looking at finding ways to deliver our products and our offerings in 3 major Nigerian languages, in addition to English: Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba, and English. I'm an Igala. That means I'll be very excluded, unfortunately. So everybody cannot be happy in the whole world. So I think let's start with the 3 major ones first, so that we can rest. But so there's effort being made to deliver our products, our offerings, and our communication in the 3 major languages, in addition to English, across digital platforms. And then to the point, when we're now coming to Kano, or we're going to Port Harcourt, we also now have to go with people that are very, like Chairman did with the other earlier, where somebody can kind of summarize the thing in the local, so that sometimes translating you can lose meaning in translation. But if you say it in Hausa directly, they will understand it better. So you're right. So we're already working on that as well. And we need to kind of scale that intervention more rapidly across digital, physical, and across digital channels. Then there's a bit about, well, this one was, okay, so thank you for saying to the whole world that we supported your business and you have expanded. And one of your questions to NGX is, how can you raise money? But you said that if we give you money and you scale, hopefully some of the profits you're going to use to invest as individual. But at the same time, the scaling will take you to the threshold of at least above 50 million naira in order for you to get listed. So I think it's almost like a relay race. So BOI supports your business, grows your business, and then we'll pass the baton to NGX because your business has now made a threshold of 50 million and above. And then you can now go there also to expand your value. So you can see why we're having this kind of a partnership with NGX. Another relevant is when I was presenting, I showed a house. And I said at the base of the house is, at the foundation of the house is partnership and collaboration. And that's what we're doing. And that is going to help us be able to pass batons on and ensure that we create value over time. So following from there, you mentioned a bit about collaborating with other MDAs like NEPC, NIPC. You're right, sir. And by the way, we have one of our strongest staff in this Kano. His name is Aminu, and he has a very strong team. So feel free to reach out to him physically. Also reach out to us digitally through our website. I say we have customer care. And you're also right. We have recently developed a partnership and collaboration framework where we'll now be intentional. So we won't wait for them to invite us. We will go out looking for them and all the things that they are doing so that we can proactively engage ourselves and ensure that we don't miss out on those opportunities for us to come out here, listen to people, and then take feedback and improve our offerings into the future. So thank you very much. I think the other two now are left for NGX to answer. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Thank you. So I think my work is done. Thank you, sir.
Please, let's appreciate him the more, please. Another round of applause. We want to thank you so much for your utmost patience and endurance still for us to come this far. We are now taking the last session, which is where we're going to have a panel of discussion to discuss scaling enterprises in northern Nigeria, capital raising, strategies, market access, and the investor readiness. These are the key areas they will talk about. Now, to take the lead as the moderator, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the Assistant Manager Investment, Kano State Investment Promotion Agency, KSIP, Mrs. Amira Rabiu Sulaiman. Please, if she's in here, a round of applause, please, for her as she cut the lead. Thank you. Please make your way. Thank you very much. I told you at the beginning that I won't mention the panelists until when it comes to the time. And this is the best of time for us to listen to them and benefit out of their wealth of knowledge and experience. No. Remember the center? There I go. Okay. So it's okay. Then to join her is the branch manager, APT Securities, Mr. Lukman Nuhu. Lukman Nuhu, please a round of applause for him. Next to join them is the acting managing director, Norem Bagger, Advisory Partners Limited, Mr. Oladipo Olakule Junedu. Please a round of applause for him. Maybe you come here so that we balance the suits. And then the last person to join them is the Deputy Managing Director, Afri Invest Limited, Mr. Victor Ndu Kuba. Please a round of applause for him. So I think we'll do an adjustment maybe if you so wish, or you want to remain here? Okay, then he sit here, right? Can we have more microphones? Microphones, please, quickly. Okay, we already have this one, but let's have a test again. We need to test them again. Our sound engineer. Please, let's have a test of them. We did that first. Sound engineer, where are you? Quickly. Yours is okay? And then yours? Okay. Say something. Wait, let's do it one after the other.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Kaga, look at me here. Parada gonna talk, please, sir.
Hello, hello.
Okay. You talk. Number 2, Batai. Madam, let's hear you. Okay.
Hello.
Good.
Hello.
Good. So, only this one. Number, then let them share it. Yes. And we are taking only 50 minutes. So please make it snappy. Or I can give you this one.
Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to begin by acknowledging our distinguished guests, partners, and signatories who are present here today. Well done, sir. Okay, so today's conversation is about how businesses here in Kano and northern Nigeria can move from doing well at their current level to growing into stronger, bigger, and more sustainable enterprises. Many of our SMEs here are already doing great work in trade, manufacturing, agri-businesses, and even family-owned businesses. But the main question that brought us all here today is, what does it take to grow beyond the founder? How can one move into new markets? What does it take to attract the right kind of funding? And how does it take one to grow a business that will last for generations? So without further ado, since we don't have much time, I would like to go to my first question, which is for Mr. Lukman. My first question is, many business owners, especially here in Kano and across northern Nigeria, still see the capital market as something meant only for the big companies. From your experience, what are the biggest misconceptions small and medium enterprises have about the capital market?
Thank you. From my experience, there are 3 issues. Okay. There are 3 issues here. One, some of the SMEs believe that the capital market is not for them, it's for the players. Then secondly, the issue of taxation. Some see it as a way of paying more because maybe they are not paying the right taxes. They will see it as, since, okay, the account will be public, they will be paying more taxes. Then lastly, is the issue of lack of knowledge. If they know the benefits of raising capital from the market, I think the issue will not be like this. And I usually tell some of the people I engage with, you cannot grow a business with a loan. Loan has tenor and it has interest. But if you have somebody that will buy maybe 10-15% of your equities, you have patient and long-term capital, which nobody will compel you to pay dividend beyond what you can. I think that's what I can say for this.
Yeah, that is good. We have heard advice you have given to the small and medium enterprises. But what about advice that you're going to give to the Bank of Industry and the Nigerian Exchange on how to make this possible?
Okay, as I said, it's the issue of awareness. I wanted to raise a question when the NTX presenter made her presentation. The X Academy, I think they need to look at Kano very well. They should have partnership with the SMEs, give them training. We, local operators, we can complement that, and that will help.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now, my next question is going to be for Mr. Victor. These days, many things are becoming easier through technology. Even how we access financial opportunities with platforms like the NGX Invest, Trade, and Afri Investor. How is the technology helping small and medium enterprises better understand and access the capital market?
Well, thank you for that question. And good afternoon, everyone. I think the evolution of technology has helped to expand access to Nigerians to see what the market is exactly. I recall there was a question about the emotional pain from the losses of 2008. I do recall that back at, in those days, to do a transaction in the market, you either had to write, to your broker, or to call, or to send a text message. And the activity of the broker was more, almost sort of somewhat shielded from the investor. So they didn't know what was really going on. But with platforms like ours, today the thing is in your hand. With any smartphone, you can have your application, you can see the market in real time, you can push your orders directly to the market. Now, for SMEs, SMEs are companies that are run by individuals, right? And as businessmen and women, of course, as you trade, as you manufacture and sell, you earn income and revenue. Some of that you need to invest. And by accessing the market through technology platforms, it becomes obvious what is possible and what is not. Now, if you flip the script and say to yourself, like I listened to the gentleman who talked about his two businesses that have done well, the water business and the services. If he then decides to list that business, what he's seen as an investor, an individual, is what is possible for his business when he also brings it to the market and is able to list. By putting technology in the hands of people, we're able to essentially, a lot of firms will say democratize access. So meaning you make it possible for as many as possible to access the market. And the good thing about these platforms is there are no sort of minimum limits. Even if it's 1,000 naira, 500 naira, as long as you can afford to buy one or two stocks, the platforms are available to you.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to need from you guys, I've listed at least 3 platforms here. Could you give 3 or more platforms where the SMEs can access this kind of opportunity? Could you list 3 or more platforms, or maybe 2, where the small and medium enterprises, apart from the ones I've listed, can access these investment opportunities?
I think, well, Afrinvest is one that we have and own as Afrinvest. Obviously, the name is similar. But I think if I were to sort of pick top of my brain, other platforms that allow individuals access the stock market, the NGX platform is one, but that is essentially for primary listing. So when you have, public offers and things like that, it was used for a lot of the bank recapitalization offers. I think GTB was on it, Zenith Bank was on it, and the rest of that. You've mentioned Trade. I think there's Bamboo.
Okay.
Either Invest Nigeria or Invest Now or something like that.
Okay,
so there are a few of them.
Yeah, okay, thank
yes.
you. From what I got a question from me was for the small and medium enterprises to know that there are a lot of platforms that you can access and invest in. Thank you. My next question is going to be to you, Mr. Oladipo. Institutions like the Bank of Industry, the Nigerian Exchange, and even Norimberga provides a full ecosystem, capital, and insurance pensions. How important is this kind of all-in-one support for SMEs trying to grow?
Good afternoon, everyone. So when you exist as an institution, right, you're forced to operate on your lonesome, right? Source out everything, source out your finance, source out your insurance, source out from different sources. And that can eventually lead to some level of fragmentation, right? But if you decide to pursue an organization with an ecosystem, you begin to find yourself in a one-stop shop where there's a full integrated services. So without any shame, I'll take my organization, for example, Norimberga, right? In Norimberga, we have investment banking, we have asset management, we have pensions, we have insurance, we have trustee. So we have a microfinance bank as well. So when you come to us, right, your full interest is covered. And when we are investing in you that much, we want you to succeed. right? So that there's no need for you to go somewhere else. And the thing about it is, when you have, say you have Afro-Invest as your insurer, and you have Norembeja as your financier and the likes of that, there might be information gaps between entities, right? And each of them are chasing their own dreams and what they achieve from you. But when you're within an ecosystem, then you have the full support of the ecosystem. You have the support from individual organizations or subsidiaries. And that way, your business would also be posted. And another advantage of an ecosystem is when you're very much invested with a financial institution that has a very good ecosystem, as an SME business specifically, you end up having leverage within that business, right? Because they are your bankers, they are your funders, they are your insurers. And so the very best of rates would then eventually come your way. You become a company with precedence, and therefore you will never be a first-time issuer, and the access to capital would always be consistent for you.
Okay, so for the business owners and founders in this room, there's an opportunity right there that you can access. Now, moving on to the next question is from Mr. Victor. Given that capital market participation in the North remains below 5%, according to the latest financial inclusion reports, coupled with the influence of religious sentiments that drive strong preference for ethical values, what initiative are institutions like the Bank of Industry, the Nigerian Exchange, and organizations like yours implementing to promote investment culture in northern Nigeria?
Thank you. That's a great question. And I think it's one of the greatest opportunities in Nigeria today. There are two ways to look at everything. You look at the glass, you say it's half full. Some will say it's half empty. By saying, oh, participation is low, could project the sense that, oh, there isn't anything happening. However, the fact that that participation is low, and given the amount of wealth present in a place like Kano, tells you that it's an opportunity to grow and increase participation. Now, what are people doing? I think this event is one of those events geared towards actually ensuring that we can expand the participation of people like people from this region, Kano particularly, in the activities of the capital market. That's on the one hand. And for players like us, there are increasingly tools. For example, we've talked about, I think the BOI mentioned the fact that they now have a non-interest finance license that obviously allows them to look at such bespoke products that speak to the ethical and the social construct of the region. Ourselves as capital market participants have also created opportunities for investors to come in through a halal fund that we set up last year. We haven't formally launched it. We've set up an office presence here in Kano, and we are now dedicated to growing participation in Kano. One of the things we'll be doing increasingly is very targeted investor education sessions and workshops to work with some of our clients who already have in Kano to grow those opportunities. We've had the privilege of having worked with some clients here in the past, but on some big infrastructure projects. The Adoba Euro Mall in Kano was a project that I personally was involved in that goes back as far as 2007 conception and was launched in 2014. But beyond the institutional level engagement, we think that there is room to work with a lot more SMEs to do that. The other thing we've also done internally, for example, is we've spun off our research team into a consulting business because we recognized at some point that there was a lot of demand for the kind of support that small businesses will require that an investment bank traditionally cannot serve, because those teams are usually very small, often less than 20 people, and they are targeting very specific type of big transactions. But with a small consulting firm, you can afford to meet SMEs at the very points where they need you. So from things like doing business incubation, advisory work, whether it's business planning, feasibility studies, modeling markets, looking at route to market, distribution routes, whatever it is, traffic studies, distribution platforms, and scenario planning, all those sort of services are available. And then you evaluate those and say, okay, what is the best form of capital for that business or for that enterprise to flourish? Okay. Is it equity or is it debt? And there's so much more to talk about.
That's your question, sir. Many of our small and medium enterprises, I'm sure you can hear the whispers when I said religious sentiments.
Correct.
They still have doubt when it comes to interest and whatnot. So my question here, or like my suggestion would be, what confidence or advice can you give them that yes, their concerns are being addressed when it comes to ethical values in respect to their investments?
Yeah, precisely. I think the good thing about the Nigerian market is as it's begun to deepen, we have a plethora of opportunities now available, especially in the non-interest finance area. For the larger corporates, they can tap in and leverage things like the sukuks and other type fixed income instruments, and then there are other Sharia compliant solutions that allow businesses to tap into funding, which is not debt. Allows you to do your equity participation and the risk sharing under the Islamic framework for financing. So those are available, and we would be able to support small enterprises in that regard.
I hope this gives the confidence that the small and medium enterprises need. Now, on a final note, I would like to ask Mr. Lukman one last question. We often see businesses rushing to look for funding when they are not fully prepared. They don't keep proper records, and their finances are not clear, or they don't have a clear plan for how the funds will be used. What common mistakes do SMEs make when trying to raise capital, and how can they avoid them? So could you be brief, please?
Sorry?
Could you be brief with
Okay. I think the problem is you find out that most SMEs, you cannot separate the owner from the business. The business has to be a separate legal entity from the owner. There are instances whereby you go, you see the business name, but when you want to make payment, you pay into the owner's personal account. And there are regular drawings which are not accounted for. So I think what they need to do first is house cleaning. Get a dedicated business account for your business, then you have your own personal account. I think that is the main thing, house cleaning. The business should be separate from the owner.
I hope you heard that. Separate your business from the owner. Now, please, I have been hearing about questions about agriculture, and I would like Mr. Oladipo to give us some insight on that. Given the importance of agriculture in northern Nigeria, how can small and medium enterprise in this space benefit from opportunities available?
You mean opportunities in Northern Beja or opportunities in general?
All the opportunities that are available in general.
So I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, I think that when we think about small businesses and especially around agriculture, I think the thinking has to go away from just production into a value chain system. And I believe there was a lady in here that was speaking about BOI being able to assist in creating and funding a value chain system that they can tap into, right? Because people just assume that it's always about production, but there's a lot more money in the value chain, especially how you can structure various types of capital and returns that will work for you, right? So you think about things like aggregation, storage, logistics. All of these things are there to aid the production. And so whilst you're producing, you also don't necessarily have to be the one to come up with the value chain. In producing and thinking along that line, you can also plug yourself into an existing value chain. So take a small-time farmer making groundnuts, right? You know you have 10 bags of groundnut harvest every year. As opposed to waiting to the point of harvest, right, to sell after harvesting, you can plug yourself with an aggregator whose sole job is to find as much bags of groundnut that exists within this space. And so that makes you immediately have an off-taker. Do you understand? And so when you have an off-taker, you essentially have a guarantee that there's a certain entity that will take up my 10 bags at the time of harvest. With that kind of structure in mind, you can find capital to then back this conversation, right? But in doing so, you must, like my other colleague said, you must always do your house cleaning very well and separate church and state from the individual and the business. And so when you think like that, you go for a very long business. And the Northern Beja, just to plug that in, we now currently have Northern Agric in Kano State, as well as the entire Northern ecosystem now existing within Kano State.
Okay,
And
that
in
is an
GRA,
opportunity.
yes. And so funding is always available for different types. Structured finance, allow funding. Allow funding has been available for the last 5 years and
Wow.
keeps growing. And you can just walk into the office now. You don't have to use online communication and the likes. You can just breeze into our office and do some consultations, and I'm sure you will walk out with some very good advice.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, our panelists, for the valuable insights shared today. From this discussion, one thing is very clear: the opportunities are there. We've heard about funds that support business ideas, platforms that make it easier to access investment, and the importance of putting a proper structure in place before seeking capital. So for the SMEs here, the takeaway is simple. Start putting your business in order, stay informed, and begin to explore these opportunities. I would like to sincerely appreciate the organizers of this event for putting together such an important and timely conversation, and for creating a platform that connects SMEs with real opportunities. Thank you so much.
I believe you had them from the start to this very moment. Nice questions, nice answers, and then a very nice conclusion, from Amira. So shall we please put our hands together for Amira, Rabi Suleiman as the moderator, as well as the panel that has to do with Mr. Lukman Nuhu, and then Mr. Ola Dipo, Ola Kule Janedu, as well as Mr. Victor Ndukwaba. Please, a round of applause, please, for them. We'll have love. Yes, we'll have love. You ask them questions, but because of time constraints, please bear with us. I believe this is the first time, but that will not be the end of it. Bank of Industry, as well as the NGX, will come back to Kano, God's willing. More especially when somebody was saying that whatever that is coming up, they should try to put things in our local language for the best understanding, of the good people of Kano and some of northern Nigeria, not minding the fact that, yes, we all understand English, but at least by so doing, maybe it would, go into the stakeholders so much to understand the basic of small and medium enterprise and then the benefits around. But in the meantime, as I said, I want to thank you most sincerely. At least research, that you guys have done. It's not easy to research, to make all these findings, and then to make us believe in what you are able to come up with. So thank you so much. And then we'll not ask you to go. There's going to be a group photograph. We're going to have some chairs here first. Up. Okay, then we'll move the chairs a little bit. But then you move it in chairs. Let's move the chairs so that some will just, okay, stand here. The photographers, what do you want, here or up? Up is better? Yeah? Okay, then you move. Yeah. Okay. Madam Ivy, come please, quickly. All right. After the photograph, we're going to listen a vote of thank you. Well done. Photographers, do justice to them. Want it to be more colorful. Maybe you do a little bit curve. You curve a little. If you do a bit curving, Hola? Maybe you curve so that, yeah. You people are not smiling. And what's up? I like that. Good. All right. Well then. That's it. Thank you, sir. All right. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, let me invite from the Bank of Industry of Dr. Obaro Masai, the Divisional Head of Business Development and Strategy, to please come and say a word of thank you on behalf of NGX and BOI. Please round of applause, please, for him.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a great day, and I'm excited that I'm here in the city of Kano for the last couple of hours. So I want to thank my ED, for personally coming to Kano to grace this occasion. I also want to thank the executive management team of NGX, headed by the chairman, and of course the chief executive officer of NGX. I also want to thank the Emir of Kano, who also was here earlier to grace this occasion. In Kano, we have 2 state offices. Because of the importance the bank attaches to the size of the Kano business community. So please, let's take advantage of their local presence in Kano. We have 2 state offices. Very few states, I think it's only Lagos and Abuja, that has that privilege in Nigeria. All other states have 1 state office. But Kano, Abuja, and Lagos has 2 state offices each. So let's take advantage of that. And this session has been very, very interesting. And in fact, I'm excited with the partnership we're having with NGX. I will continue to live and develop on this partnership. All the feedbacks that we got today, things to do to improve on the partnership, we've taken notes. We'll go back and implement. Specifically, I took home the point of local language and what can be done to use that to enhance our impact in the marketplace. I also took back the issue of value chain, which we are developing already, and of course, product development, which are very, very critical. I also took back the need to train our people on what we currently have, like the there's a program that NGS has. We needed to publicize that, ensure that more people are aware of that platform, so that more people be aware of what they are doing, and also come to Kano and other cities in Nigeria to have this kind of a forum to train more of our people. And I think education is a no-brainer. If you want to develop, you must focus on educating yourselves. And I think that the feedback from this session. I want to thank all of you, sir, sincerely. And we wish us, it's time for lunch. And I wish all of us very good afternoon and safe journey back to our various destinations. Thank you.
As thank you remain keywords, we also say thank you to you. I want to thank everyone, and we do believe that for anything that has a beginning must surely have an end, but not the end of our life, but the end of this very incisive and analytical fora we experienced from morning to this very hour. While we're about to go to the item 7, I want to crave your indulgence to say that I remain, like always, Mohammed Musa Mohammed Inya, the CEO of Triple M Communications and Event Management here in Kano. And I want to thank the 2 organizations for finding me worthy to anchor this event to this very moment. Thank you so, so, so much. And on that note, we shall have another photograph to keep the history, at least with the chairman, before moving into where we shall, take our lunch. Mr. Chairman, sir? I believe some faces will have, want to have a picture with you. So you remain here? Yeah, please. Sir, the ears, yeah. NGS and then Bank of Industry. Okay, if you want to come up, sir, it's better. Yes, sir, I will. Yes, please, there's a photo station, yeah? Yeah, the 2 organizations, first, very quickly. All other heads, please, to come forth. Bank of Industry and then Nigeria Exchange Group. The heads, quickly, please. Very quickly, sorry. Okay. Good. Then my very humble, madam, come and join. Thank you. Shall we rise for the national anthem quickly? Anthem quickly. No anthem? Okay. So we go. No wala. All right. So it's okay. But we can do it. 1 minute. Anthem. DJ, anthem quickly. We started with it, let's finish with it. Anthem quickly. Anthem quickly, anthem quickly. Bear with us, bear with us, bear with us. Into the food we fear. Nigeria, to our land. I think it's okay. A round of applause to ourselves. Thank you. Wish you all the best. Thank you.